the Dolphins game started off with a pass that was tipped from Tua that went a little viral, and it looked like he threw it 20 yards short of Tyreek Hill, I think. But that wasn't the case. It was just people kind of ragging on him. However, the reason that people do that is because of the limitations of his game. However, man, is Mike McDaniel going to milk every strength that Tua has out of that guy? Because that was so fun. That was so fun. And this is why I like the Shanahan group of coaches, because they understand how to get the most out of their players, even if they're not the best. And like, I mean, McVay, another guy from that tree, did it with Jared Goff, and then he got a good quarterback and he won the Super Bowl.
It gives me no solace because this is a division rival for me. But the again, I haven't when Gase was the coach of the Dolphins and Flores. Don't get me wrong, I think Flores is a genuinely good coach and a great defensive coach. He put up a few games last year
Oh
where
man.
that defense looked lights out. But I haven't seen kind of both sides of the ball galvanized like this for both Tua leading the Dolphins and also for the Dolphins in general for the last few years. And like we've been saying, week one caveats aside, this pairing so far of McDaniel running the offense, Tua, Waddle, and Tyreek, like it regardless of what the long term future holds for them, it was at the very least exciting and dynamic to behold.
It's perfect for him. It's perfect for Tua because he can't stretch the field, but what he can do is he can throw over the middle, and he does have accuracy when he's in short and intermediate playing short and intermediate throws, something that like say Trey Lance does not have right now. Which is a really good skill set for this offense. And so yeah, I'm encouraged and excited by the Dolphins. I'm rooting for them. I'm really, really rooting for them because I like Waddle. I like the team of Waddle and Tyreek Hill because this was where Tua thrived in Alabama, where he was able to have those receivers with Yak. I mean, it was Judy, it was Ruggs, and Devonta Smith, but I guess I would include kind of the more analogous usage would be Judy and Ruggs in this instance. But the defense looks really good. You forget that Melvin Ingram is on the Dolphins, which is so exciting, and they're just well rounded. And it's going to be really hard to stop Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, two of the fastest players at the receiver position in the league. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. So I find the Dolphins really, really interesting. Do I have my concerns about how this game is going to translate in cold weather or in bad conditions? Yes, I do. But for now, enjoy the ride, guys, because even if Tua isn't the guy, this roster is arguably top five in football on the whole.
And also take solace in the fact that again, week one aside, the Patriots looked like shit.
Oh man.
They looked bad. They looked really awful actually. Like they couldn't really get anything going on either end of the ball. Like it just was not. They looked kind of like anemic, honestly. And I'm not usually, even with some of the most untalented rosters Belichick has had, they don't usually look that kind of like lifeless coming out.
The offense, what is going on? Who is calling plays? Is it Joe Judge? Is it Matt Patricia? Is it Belichick?
Is it someone who has been an offensive coordinator before?
Because none of those three people have. And I know Belichick works with every side of the ball. I understand that. But this is not encouraging. They looked really bad, and I understand that the Patriots always take a while to warm up. It's usually around week 4 where they start to really hit their stride. And even in their strongest years, and say they leave the first 4 weeks 3-1, it doesn't look like it does later in the year. And I know that's the same for every team, but some teams fall apart. The Patriots get stronger as they're able to implement their concepts. But what concepts do they have on the offensive side of the ball? I'm concerned about that. I think this is one of the least talented teams they've ever had. And on top of it, the coaching the loss of Josh McDaniels seems to be really acute right now. And so look, sorry, Pats fans. Guess you're just like the rest of us at this point.
In the basement with me.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. See if you finish with a better record than the Jets this year, bitch.
They definitely are going to.
They will. But man, I mean, it is really an interesting sight, and I it is a bad it's a not a great indication for like or piece of evidence for my it was more Belichick than Brady takes during that time. So that's part of why it stings a little bit because I'm partly rooting for Belichick for that reason. Like I wanted Belichick to get a ring without Brady, but probably not going to happen because if I were him, I'd retire. Given the state of the roster and his, I, it's hard to question him, right? But there have been some questionable moves. There have been some really questionable moves, and his son's on the defensive staff. We have no idea what his role is. I don't like that nepotism element, even though I just praised Kyle Shanahan, so I'm contradicting myself. But Shanahan's proved that he can be a great coach, and I'm not sure about mini Belichick. But
I think looking for the past like 10 years or 8 years of the Pats like draft picks from the first to the fifth round, let's say, I don't think there's any more proof that you need to establish that Belichick should maybe stop making the personnel decisions as well as be coaching the team.
He has not drafted well in a long time.
Like if you look at a list of those players, the majority of them either were complete washouts, were traded very early on, or don't play with the team anymore at all.
And there are some good players that he did draft, like that safety Kyle Duggar, and also that you know who that player Christian Barmore, who they took in the second round, defensive tackle. But other than that, I don't know how many draft picks they've necessarily hit on recently.
And like Devin McCourty's obviously good, but McCourty's old. He's been in the league a really long time.
And they lost J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson's on the Chargers now. I like Devon Godcho. He's one of the guys on their front seven, but he's kind of a minor piece. Like it's kind of like picking a skeleton, trying to find like real impact players besides like who you mentioned and even maybe Mac. But Mac's in his second year. It remains to be seen what he will be long term. And also he doesn't have the athletic upside of a lot of these guys. He's an accurate passer, but he's not very super mobile. Like it's not super easy to see exactly what this team is trying to be.
Yeah, and Fierce Deity writes in, I mean, we know who's calling plays. It's Patricia. He's not qualified, and he's not going to do a good job, but for the time being, that's who's doing it. I don't know if that's true. I mean, that's what they say, but they lie all the time. And some of the obfuscation around it makes me think that maybe Belichick is calling plays and his son or something is handling the defense. And I have no idea. I'm just speculating because no one has any idea because Belichick has accumulated this like persona and ability to just shrug off the reporters in Boston. And I don't know how long he's going to be able to do that if this continues to be the performance.